Thank you for being here. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Krista and I so love doing these lives. We do have some questions that Christy has come up with, which I was looking through them. They're really good. But also, if you have questions for us, please put them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what's going on, in your life. If these questions resonate with you, or just any kind of spiritual question you have, we'd be glad to answer.
We are not doing readings though today.
No,
We're just
aren't doing
answering
readings.
questions.
Right. If you want a reading, we'd love to read you. If you want to go to our websites and book a reading in private, we would love to do that for you. But otherwise, we are here just to answer basic spiritual questions. And I know I would have loved to have had something like this when I was first starting out, because there's so much of the unknown. And sometimes if you have these kinds of you can't have these kinds of conversations that we have on here with just anyone.
Yeah.
They will either not give you, they'll give you a answer that is really has a religious bias to it, or one that is out of their own fear. I know I hear a lot of people, I don't know if you ever hear this, Christy, people being fearful of psychic mediums.
Oh, all the time. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will go live on TikTok or just to do readings, and I will have, of course, spammers come on there saying, you're worshiping Satan. Pretty sure no.
If your grandpa is Satan, that's who I'm talking to.
Right, exactly. That's funny. I've never understood how it's okay for me to talk, to pray and talk to God or Jesus.
Mhm.
Or it was okay for me to have a relationship with my grandmother or grandfather on planet. But once I die, I can't have a relationship with them?
Well, and every religion believes in afterlife. All of
Yes.
them do, but you just don't talk to them. And to me, that is just, it's a power trip. Because if we were able to have relationships with those on the other side, then what do we need our religious leaders for?
Right.
And
this is not on the questions, but Christy just saying that opened something up to me. I come from, I led Bible studies. I read, I don't know if anyone knows of the Awana program, but it's very prevalent. I think it's it's an old school Bible study program that's run in very conservative churches. I used to run that program, and it's how kids learn Bible verses and all of that. So I knew the Bible, but I would get frustrated because some of the questions I would ask, people would get annoyed with me. I remember one time we were in California, and I was just so confused. I had a friend who was a Church of Latter-day Saints Mormon, sweetest person ever. And my friend was telling me that she wasn't going to go to heaven. And I don't even remember my friend's name now. It was someone who I went to church with. I was confused. And I wasn't trying to be mean or argumentative. I was curious. How could my friend, who was the sweetest person ever, not be going to heaven? I'm so confused. And so, they were like, well, if she hasn't accepted Jesus as her, da, 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 da. And I was going back and forth, and I really frustrated her because she said, well, people will be given the opportunity to accept, at some point. Well, when does that happen? She got I don't know. Like, I can just remember, because I was taken aback and stopped asking questions. But that has happened to me so many times in the religious environment, where I start asking questions, not because I'm being argumentative, because I'm curious. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. A lot of it doesn't make sense.
And so then people just would get angry. And so spirituality has actually given me a broader and a more loving view of who our God is.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I just call it the divine, or sometimes I'll use the word God. It all means the same to me, but I think sometimes religion has kind of boxed God in.
Yeah. I had an experience just last week that ties in with that beautifully. And last year I was in Santa Fe, and in this Catholic church where the staircase was round, and there's a whole story that goes with that, with this carpenter showing up and building with no support system, and built this beautiful staircase and then left before he could be paid for his work. And it's this beautiful work of art. So I wanted to see that. So I went in this, and there's a gift store attached to it. And I bought just a little tiny bottle of holy water. And Last week I had a client in who's very, very religious and was going through some pretty major trauma. And I said, why don't I use some holy water on you? Well, I said, well, I got to get some more. So I went to a religious store here in Omaha and I said, I'm looking for holy water. Oh, no, we do not sell anything that's been blessed. I said, really? Yeah, you can have the container, but you can't have anything that's been blessed. And I said, okay, I'm confused because I was in Santa Fe last year at a Catholic church and bought holy water in the gift store. Oh, well, we really don't consider them Catholic anymore. Okay. All right. Interesting.
Right, because they didn't check one of the boxes that they felt like they should check.
Yeah.
So they're no longer in the club.
So I went home and went online, holy water, and I ordered
Right.
it
I
online.
was like, did you buy some online?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you go into the Catholic churches and just fill your container with it?
Uh-huh.
It's already blessed.
Yeah, because it's free because it's been
Yeah.
blessed, but you can't
Yeah.
pay for it.
Interesting. All right. All right. So let's get back on track. If anyone has any questions, and that was totally me, totally getting off, off kilter here. But if y'all have any questions, religious or otherwise, spiritual, we'll be glad to answer them. Please pop them in the chats. And if y'all are there, please say hello so we know you're there. We appreciate y'all being here with us today.
Even if
Okay.
you don't have a question, just pop in and say hi. We want to know
Absolutely.
that you're here.
We'd love to have y'all here or know that you're here. Okay. So the first one is, this is something I've actually been talking a lot about. It's funny. I read this first question, and Krista and I don't actually talk a lot between our lives. We might shoot each other a text every now and then. But it's funny though, because someone must have, we were invited as a team to go and do something, to head something up here in Omaha, which I thought was very cute. It was like, oh, that made my heart, like, people do know. Hi, Lisa. They do know that we do things together. But I read these questions, and this theme has been coming up a lot, this first question, in just my lives and my readings lately. And it is, I'm only one person. What can I do to heal the planet?
People think that they've got to do so much that they get paralyzed. And I get this with clients. Well, I know I should go read to people at the old folks home. Well, I know I should do this. I'm like, no. You don't have anything you feel like you should be doing. Don't do it, because it paralyzes people, that they think they need to do these big grandiose things, and you don't. You start with yourself. You go inside. How can I be a nicer person? How can I be kinder? How can I get to know myself better?
Yes.
And then while you're doing that, you go outside and you smile at someone, you compliment them genuinely about their energy, their persona, what they're wearing. It doesn't matter. Those are the little teeny tiny things. And if everybody did that, this planet would be so healed and in such a beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you have to do are little teeny tiny acts of kindness, as small as a smile. You don't have to give up your time. You don't have to donate money. You don't have to do any of that.
Nope.
You can if you want to, but just start out with kindness to yourself and to other people. That helps heal the planet.
And I like that you pointed that out. The kindness starts with yourself. If you're not being kind to yourself, it's really hard to be kind to others in an authentic way. And I was in meditation. It was a couple of weeks ago. And I have a book coming out September 2nd. 7th. I was like, what day did we choose? I just went through the last rounds of like the grammar checks and all of that. And I was a little bit, I've never been nervous. I had another book come out. I was not nervous about it. This one, I'm a little bit nervous because everyone who has read it has said, you wrote this book for me. And so I know that can make a difference and an impact. And I was like, how do I market it? I dropped into meditation. So Spirit was giving me some ways to market it. And they said also, and this book is about kindness, about how the name of it is Never Mistake Strength for Sovereignty. And when you're sovereign, you're really sitting in your soul and going in your soul's path. That includes being kind to yourself, having healthy boundaries, and being kind to people around you. And so Spirit was like, as you're advertising this book, make sure you tell people to do me a favor and have one act of kindness to anyone. Mm-hmm. So I would like anyone listening to this or watching this, do Christy and I a favor and one act of kindness to yourself to your kids, to your husband, to the person checking you out at Walmart. Smile. I know I went to a doctor's appointment a month ago, and I got on the elevator, my husband was there, and this lady got on after me, and instantly she complimented something on me. I don't even remember what it was. I was like, "Thank you." And then went up a floor, someone got on the elevator, she complimented that lady. Every single person that got on that elevator, this lady said something kind about.
Love it.
I know, right? I was like, what a beautiful representation, because I can find something to compliment anyone about.
Mhm. It has to be genuine, has to be
Yes.
authentic.
Yes. And so that's where it's, the butterfly effect, that ripple when you drop a pebble into a lake and it just ripples out, because when you're kind to someone, it lifts them up. Like, do I know that I should do that? Yes. But seeing that lady do it was a reminder.
Love
Oh,
it,
do
yeah.
it. And so everyone else noticed, I'm sure they noticed she was doing it, because everyone that got on the elevator, she said something nice about them. So there was probably 6 of us by the time I got to my floor. Then we went out, and then I found myself complimenting people more. So you don't know the impact that you have.
Mhm.
And I'm sure Christy will have times where we'll have an appointment, and you go through the appointment, you do your deal, you move on to the next one, and you don't realize the impact you've had until someone comes back and messages you.
Yeah.
And it's humbling and beautiful, and makes me feel just so happy and blessed for what I do for a living.
Yes. Every day. I said I've never lost the wonder of it,
I
of what
haven't. That doesn't mean we don't get tired. Doesn't mean I don't need a nap every now and then. But even through all of my health battles, I've continued to maybe not work as many hours as I had in the beginning, but still continue working. And when people say, you need to stop working, you need to take care of yourself, I find such joy in my work, and I feel so blessed to do it. I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you need be a psychic medium to spread happiness. Most of the people I spread happiness to have no idea what I do for a living.
And that's even better. I think when
Right.
they don't know, you just are kind to them and they know that you're authentic. They can feel it.
And people, like, I had someone, I was just telling Christy this story, sign up to mentor with me yesterday. And usually people, before they mentor, they've had a couple appointments with me. They've seen the Divine Collective something. But this person, it was her first appointment with me. And after the appointment, she wanted a mentorship. And why is because she knew someone else I had mentored, and she asked what was different in that person's life. It was the joy.
Mhm.
The joy of just sitting with your soul and knowing that you are here to make a difference. Because every single person watching this, I promise you're here to make a difference.
And the fact that you exist is enough. The fact
I
that
was
you're
about to say, we need your puzzle piece on this planet.
yes.
We are an incomplete puzzle
Mhm.
without your puzzle piece fitting just perfectly. And the only way to do that is to vibrate your own authentic self.
My favorite line in my favorite poem, and I use this a lot, is no less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. And you look at the night sky, and what star shouldn't be there? It's what makes the night sky. You look in a forest, what tree shouldn't be there? It's what makes a forest. That's what makes humanity, is you and the rest of us. You have a right to be here. And don't let
Absolutely.
anybody tell you differently.
And we don't need another Christy Godwin or another Christy Peterson. We need you. We
Mhm.
need each and every one of you being your authentic self. We already have a Christy Godwin. We already have another, Christy Peterson. And I know y'all don't need another of me. Y'all do not. But we need you. We need each and every one of you letting your light shine. And thank you, Lisa. She said she definitely needed to hear this. Thank you.
Yay.
Yes, everyone, and we need your authentic self, like that book you haven't written, that song you haven't sang, that poem you haven't written, that smile that you haven't smiled yet. This planet needs that. It needs you vibrating as your authentic self. All
My
right,
other favorite quote is, be yourself, everybody else is already taken.
absolutely. And like I said, y'all don't need another me. Lord have mercy. Be careful what you wish for. People say, if they come to me, I want to read like you. No, 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 you do not.
No.
You don't want to read like me. You don't want to be. I will teach you the fundamentals, and then you put your personality into it
Yes.
because you don't need me. You need
You've
to be
got to
you.
make it your own, otherwise it's not authentic.
Exactly. And that's when we have incongruent energy. If you ever are with someone and they just kind of feel off, sit with that. It's a lot about incongruent energy, like the words they're saying isn't matching the spirit that they are. And you can feel that. It
Yes.
doesn't take a straight up trained psychic medium to be, because we're all psychic mediums.
Yeah.
Every single person on this planet, I just say, people like Christy and I have probably practiced it a little bit more than the average Joe. And once you do something thousands of times, hopefully you're going to get better at it.
It's like any skill, you have to develop it.
Absolutely. And go into it open minded. All right. So the next question here is this is another really good one. Does the food we eat hamper our spiritual progress?
I come with some mixed feelings with that because, the
Same.
bottom line can be yes. However, when I used to do expos and I would read 50 people in 2 days, the expo would end and I'm like, I need red meat. I just need red meat. Because to ground me and keep me on this planet, because I spent so much time
Yes.
up there. So I think I always say everybody is different and every body is different. And you really need to pay attention to your body and the foods you eat and how do you feel after a certain amount of time after ingesting certain foods. And, it's a well known fact now that so much of our food is toxic.
Yes.
But I also think, and this is probably pretty controversial, the stress of should I eat this, should I not, is worse than any toxic chemical.
I agree. 1,000%. I mean, sometimes we'll worry ourselves to death. It's funny, because whenever I read in expos, which I haven't done it recently, and I was looking at the one in the fall, which I'm going to be at Disney World for that one. So, not reading in any this year, but on the way home, we would stop at a steakhouse.
You needed red meat too.
I did. I needed to ground. I mean, sometimes I would get so airy-fairy from being in the realm so long, I would start getting a little bit of like an airy-fairy headache. There are certain foods that ground. Now, I have noticed that, sometimes if I work a lot and I'm feeling like I've been in the ethers too much, I will start heading to the kitchen because food can be grounding.
Mhm.
I've tried to stop myself from doing that and going outside barefoot or do something to ground myself outside of eating because, I snack way too much, as I'm sure most people do. And I do know some people that do what Kristen and I do. They're in the spiritual realm that they don't eat meat at all.
Mhm.
That is not me. I don't know. Well, no, I don't do know Christy eats meat. I've eaten lunch with her before. But I do try to be careful about the quality. Like I will only eat organic meat. When it comes to our beef, we have someone that raises a cow for us out in Western Nebraska. And he's very particular about, like he was saying, so he names our cow. So once I get it here and I put it in the freezer, I bless it. Like I say, a gratitude blessing for it. And every once in a while, I will still go in there. And this year's cow is named Jack. And I will go and, still say, thank you, Jack. Thank you for, for keeping my family, healthy. Thank you for your sacrifice. I will really bless it. And the guy who, even when he was telling me about taking Jack to where his life was going to be no longer, he said he could tell Jack knew something was up. And that when he went to get on the trailer, he said Jack has never had a problem getting on that trailer before, but he didn't really want to. And he said, I just stood there. I let Jack make the decision. He said, I was not going to force him onto this trailer because that was going to stress him out. Mm-hmm. He said, I let him circle it. He said, we were there 15, 20 minutes. Jack's just running around, looking in the trailer, coming back and seeing he's never done that before. And so then you can tell he kind of made that decision and he went on the trailer and everyone else followed him.
Because I do believe many of the animals do come in knowing that their life is going to be sacrificed for nutrition for us. And I've been judged by a lot of vegetarians and vegans because I do eat meat. And I'm like, well, you know what? Carrots are alive. And vegetables and fruits, they're alive too. And
Mhm.
so, animals might have a soul, but who's to say that carrots and lettuce and cabbage, that they don't have souls
Right.
either? It's never been proven or disproven, but they are alive. And so either way, it's something that is giving its life for humans to have nutrients in
Yes,
their
I
body.
Lisa says, "I can't eat red meat anymore from the store. It has a nasty chemical taste." I know it does. And she said her cousin, she gets a cow from her cousin. Once you've had a cow that's been treated right and all of that, we went out. We had been leaving, we were visiting someone in the hospital, and we popped in to have a burger somewhere on the way home. And it was a nice restaurant. So it wasn't just like a Burger King or something. It was a nice sit down restaurant. I kept thinking, what is wrong with this burger? My husband kept saying how great it was. And I realized, oh, it's because it's not my Jack. I'm used to eating it where it's much more well taken care of.
But a good point is, like you said, you bless it and thank Jack. We should do that with every meal, everything that we eat. We
Yes.
should express gratitude that something gave up its existence so we could continue
Yes.
to live.
Chrissy, I think we've talked about this next thing I'm about to mention before, and I can't. It's a Japanese scientist. Do you remember his name? The one who took pictures of the water.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so there was a Japanese scientist who took pictures of water where there was nice things said to the water, and the molecules are beautiful. And then he took pictures of the water where there was heavy metal music played, or not good things said to the water, and it looked very chaotic and just all over the place. And it's so true that we can bless things and it makes a difference in their vibration.
Mhm.
And I also want to say that too much of anything is no good.
Yes.
So, does food we eat hamper our spiritual progress? If it's too much of anything, it can be too much of fruits and vegetables. Too much of anything will hamper your progress.
Mhm.
I know some people who also choose not to drink alcohol. I in the beginning of my site, I did. I mean, not too much. Again, one glass of wine and I'm done. I don't anymore just because I have some health issues, and so I don't anymore. But I think that too much of anything. And I was at a psychic medium. There was a bunch of us there, and so do psychic medium. This is my own thing. This is what I'm about to say is my own thing. Other people, psychic mediums, can disagree. I would never, ever, ever have a drink and then go read people.
No,
Never
no,
do that.
never.
However, now if there's a bunch of psychic mediums around, might we have a glass of wine and mess around? Yeah. We're a bunch of psychic mediums who we're not getting paid to do this. It's not a job. We're just playing around. So that's the kind of environment we were in. And I couldn't figure out why everyone had like one glass of wine. Most of us were still working our first ones, and we were going to go read each other, just mess around with spirit. And this one guy had an absolutely fit over it. And I couldn't figure out why. And I found out later he was a recovering alcoholic.
Mm.
So he was reading what we were doing through his bias of
Yeah.
clearly he had had too much to drink at some point and continued to mess with spirit. So I don't think that there is a good answer to this question. I think that the overall theme is too much of anything is no good.
Mhm. And pay attention to your body and what feels good in your body and what doesn't. To me, that's pretty simple, is pay attention.
Right. Just like that burger I was eating. I mean, it was an expensive burger from a nice restaurant, and it didn't feel right in my body.
Mhm.
And it made sense after I thought about it later. Because for one thing, I was sitting there with my husband talking. I didn't bless the food when it came.
Mm. Yeah.
And then it wasn't my cow that I'd already blessed. Okay. So now this is a good one. I've heard this one a lot. If someone has had mental health issues while they were alive, will they continue to have them on the other side?
No, it's pretty simple. No, they will not. It's one of the challenges that they chose to face in this lifetime is to have mental health issues. And whether that because I always say everybody's blueprint is so different. And it could be, I'm going to have mental health issues, but I'm going to find the right medication and learn how to live with it. Other people, I'm going to have mental health issues, and there's nothing that I'm going to struggle with this my entire life. And once you cross over, just like anything, whether it's a mental illness, a physical illness, an emotional illness, once you cross over, then your soul is in that complete state of wellness, of awareness, of all of that. So no, absolutely, you will not have mental health issues once you cross over.
I have said this so many times that Christy and I met each other in a professional capacity, and so we haven't hung out a lot, together for me to know her belief system on a lot of these things. So I was reading through these questions, and sometimes not sometimes, I don't know what Christy's answer is going to be.
Yeah, we don't discuss it.
No, we don't discuss these. I never know what her answer is going to be. And so when I got to that one, I thought, I wonder if this is the one that we're going to disagree on, but we don't. It's just like anyone else, whenever they were, they couldn't walk on planet, when they were on Earth, or they had cancer or whatever it was, and they cross over and they're made whole. It's the same thing with a mental illness. Whether it's physical or mental, they cross over and they're made whole. It's a journey and I do agree that when I get to the other side, I'm going to have a strong talking to with my higher self about some of the things I agreed to go through on planet in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure some of the people that are battling mental health issues are the same. Like they're thinking there's no way. And I do have a friend who lost a son, and she lost him well before I was into the psychic mediumship world, and she had gone to see a psychic medium. And this was, again, many years before I started doing this. And that psychic medium told her that her son that my friend had chosen that. She had chosen to give birth to a son. And she's like, there's no effing way. So the moral of the story is yes, our path we have chosen, and some of it. So this is a little bit off subject, but still on. We have like a soul plan or a loose plan of what we're going to go through here on planet. And when I say a loose plan, is because there is a lot of diversity. There's a lot of free will. So we can choose different ways according to what our choices are to learn certain lessons, right? But some things are just set. And so I want everyone to think about when you're looking at the situations that you're going through, whether it's a physical issue or a mental health issue, I want you to know that you're not alone, that you had a higher consciousness that knew you could handle what you were given on planet. Even though there have been times where I have been taken to my knees, as I'm sure Christy has, and we haven't discussed that, but there are times where you just feel like you're knocked down, you're not going to be able to get up, but you can. Every single person listening to this is a strong spirit in their own right. And even when we're looking down a dark tunnel and there is no light in sight, keep going. One foot in front of the other. You're going to get there. Find people to lean on. You don't have to do this journey alone. Whether it's, do you want to make an appointment with Chris or I to help you along this journey? Do you have friends to lean on? Whatever it is, whatever is resonating with you, find help. Find someone to lean on and know that you're not alone in this journey, even though you can feel that way.
I've always told people, because I've had many parents who have lost children, and I say exactly that to them, that on some level, I said, you'll never agree to this on a human level. Who would? But on a soul level, you do agree that this is something you want to experience. Nobody gets through life unscathed. It just doesn't happen. And life beats the crap out of all of us. And I say the trick is resiliency. Do you think you deserve joy? Do you think you deserve to be happy? And it's how do you learn how to integrate these horrible things that have happened to you and still live a life of joy? It takes a long time to get there, many times. Yes. But on some level, you did choose these things, because just exactly what you said, there are certain things in my life I'm like, yeah, no, I never would have picked that. But then I've learned to say, turn it around and say, what's the gift in this?
Absolutely.
And when a parent loses a child, you can say, what's the gift in that? And they just draw a blank. And it's like, could the gift be that you got to have them in your life at all? Could it
Right.
be that you are part of this beautiful soul that came to visit you for this certain amount of time? I mean, that's a pretty big gift.
That's a huge gift.
Mm-hmm.
And, a little bit along the lines of what Christy was saying, I was having a discussion with someone yesterday. The universe does not hear words. The universe reads energy. So anytime you can find joy in any little speck of darkness that you're in, the universe reads that and you will start attracting more joy. So let's just say today you weren't able to find joy at all because you just lost a loved one yesterday. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Yeah.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, you might be able to find a speck of joy. The week after that, maybe two specks of joy. And, you might the next week not be able to find any again. Death is not a linear path. I know I've told y'all about this before. Is when I took the death and dying class in college. And, this was when I was young, in my 20s. Didn't have a lot of experience with any of it. And these are the 5 stages. And then, you're done. Now that I've been on planet for a little while, no, that is not true. I do agree that there are 5 stages, but you might go 1, 2, 3, you're back to 1, you're down to 5, you're back to 1. It is not a linear path. So please make sure that you're giving yourself some grace to be where you are and to give yourself some love. I'm going through poverty at times. It's really hard to be joyful or have hope for the future. I agree.
Yeah. I think the next question is going to really hit home for you.
It is. I real quick want to say I knew someone who was like she had gone through a poverty time in her life and she didn't have enough money to basically pay her bills. But when she did have enough money to pay even part of a bill, she would give thanks. She'd be like, thank you, thank you. And slowly she was able to give that out of it. Also, I do want to remind people there is so much free will. And sometimes it's hard to recognize that we have such choice in our life. And I understand because there are times where I have a huge health concern and sometimes it goes sideways. And sometimes I feel powerless in that. But my power is in where can I find the joy in this very dark moment? And don't think I haven't had meltdowns. Christy's heard me have a meltdown before. It's okay to have a meltdown. You pick yourself up. All right. So this is Christy is right. This next question is really going to help beautiful princess here. How important is it important to know about our past lives?
And again, we can give mixed answers on this. If it's like, oh, well, I was this, I was that, who cares? But usually, if there's something that is holding you back in this lifetime, if you go to a past life, you can completely heal that, cure that. And beautiful princess, I'm going to tell you about poverty story. I was in the corporate world and I made a ton of money and I spent every dime and created debt. And then I left the corporate world and opened an art school for a decade. And I was starving. There were days I didn't have food to eat. Couldn't pay my bills. It was just awful. And finally, something landed that I had a past life as a nun in the church, and I had taken a vow of poverty. And I brought that energy into this lifetime. And so I was not allowed to keep money. So even when I made it, I had to spend it. I couldn't hang on to it. And when I couldn't make money, I was going to be taken care of because I knew the church would take care of me in that lifetime. And finally, I'm like, that I don't need that in this lifetime. And so I created a release on that, released it. And in my head, I saw a light switch go boink, and I have not had financial issues since then. So this could very possibly be a past life issue for you, because what I'm getting with you is that it's like everything you do backfires on you. It's like, I'm ahead by this far. And then it's like, oops.
Car needs to be fixed. Refrigerator broke, whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's always something that is keeping you from prosperity.
Mhm.
So I know either Christy or I would probably love to have a private session with you and we can really go a little bit deeper. But I'm very strongly getting for you that this is a past life issue for you
Agreed.
with energy that you've brought into this lifetime that can be cleared. No guarantees, probably fairly easy.
And you have to think about, we talk, there's a lot of talk about triggers. And so what is a trigger? Let's just say, you were assaulted at some point in this lifetime, and the person that assaulted you wore a certain kind of cologne. So now your brain has said, cologne, that smell is danger. That smell means run, adrenaline starts, your prefrontal cortex just goes offline. You are in fight or flight. So now you're past that, you're out in a crowd, some random person is wearing that same cologne. Your body doesn't know the difference between I am safe. All it knows is I smell that cologne. That smell means danger. We need to run. We need to hide. Um, Sometimes those triggers were created, like Christy was talking about, in a past life.
Mhm.
We learn something in a past life that we bring into this life, and it doesn't make sense. Also, I had someone who I was working with, and they all of a sudden had a fear of flying. They'd never had a fear of flying before. All of a sudden, they're 35 and they are petrified of flying. And so we started talking about this past life, and they're like, but it would have affected me my entire life. Not necessarily. Maybe you were 35, and that's what had happened. So after we broke it down, did the deal, did all the things to figure it out, they had been 35 in a past life when they passed from a plane crash. So at 35 in this life, they were triggered for that.
Yeah.
So it could be past life. Oh yeah. So I love what Beautiful Princess just said. She said basically, oh my gosh, I was thinking to myself that it could be past life and spiritual related.
Mhm.
A lot of times we know. Like a lot of times our soul is telling us this is where this is coming from, but we need help. We need some guidance in that arena. So Christy confirming it, you're like, yes, I was right. I did come from a past life. A
Mhm.
lot of times we are right. We just need
Yeah,
someone to help us see what we're seeing and to break that connection.
right.
Okay, so let's see. How do I begin to live a life of gratitude?
When you live a life of gratitude, everything changes, bar none.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
there are no exceptions to that rule. And
Right.
you have to have gratitude for what you already have. But I will tell you, to me, connecting to my guides is huge. And I bookend my day with gratitude with them, along with gratitude for a gazillion other things throughout the day. But I start my day talking to my guides and I say, thank you for letting me do this work. Thank you for always being with me. And thank you for clear messages I'm receiving today for my and my clients' best and highest good. And then I end the day when I put my head on the pillow and I say, thank you for this day. This part was not so great, but this part, but I still thank you for the day. When you
Absolutely.
bookend your day with gratitude, and let alone all the other things in between, your life will change. I guarantee it.
I 1,000% agree. And thank you, beautiful princess. She said comment how much she loves our lives and she loves the two of us together.
Uh-huh.
If you're in the Omaha area, we are doing a group event later this month. It's on September 2nd. It is going to be at the Hotel Indigo, which is, if you're familiar with the Omaha area, it's a little bit north of the Old Market area. And beautiful hotel. It's been redone, and there's parking on the street, and there's also a parking garage right beside. I know the reason I'm saying that is because if you're from the Omaha area, and when I say downtown, everyone's like, there's construction going on and parking is terrible. So this hotel is outside of the construction area, and there is a parking garage right next door to it, plus street parking all around it. You go to either one of our websites, ChristyGodwinPsychicMedium.com, ChristyPeterson.com, and then you do have it on your site, don't you, Christy?
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought so. You see, we just assume the other person is doing what they need to do. I just assumed. And
Always.
then, yeah, and you can purchase and reserve your seat. We would love to see people there. You can meet us in person. I'm all the way in England.
We've got to figure out how to do our events on Zoom.
Absolutely, we can do absolutely do that. Easy peasy. Already have the whole Zoom set up, the infrastructure to do that. We just need to schedule one. So maybe after we do this one in person, the next one we do, we'll do via Zoom. That would
Yeah.
be fun. Yeah. So when we're talking about gratitude, I 1,000% agree with Christy that the gratitude creates joy, and there's just no better way to raise your vibration. It changes your life in such a spectacular way. And not anymore because I'm so used to, and joy is also a choice and it becomes a habit.
Mhm.
So you think there is no way I can, y'all just don't understand. I'm in a bad spot. Even on the days, you're in Maryland. Well, Christy and I say that if you want to help us fill an event, we will come.
Mhm.
We will travel and come and do in person, like a group in person reading in the United States. If people in an area will help us, that's the reason we do in Omaha. We're from Omaha, so we have a client base here, and so if you can help us fill, and Christy and I do have clients across the United States. I do know that I have some people in Maryland, so we could help fill it some, but also we need someone there who is helping us book the event space and doing that kind of thing because we don't know what's available in your area.
I'll go to England. I love England.
I've never been. I've been to Ireland, and had it planned to go to England, and that's the year I was diagnosed with cancer. And so we had to cancel the trip. So on days that, early on joy hadn't become a happiness, gratitude had not become a pattern, something that I just gravitated to, I would have gratitude days. And if I'm feeling a little bit funky, I will still have a gratitude day. And I think that I must have been someone who had to do laundry for pennies in the past life because I find myself always blessing and being thankful for my washer and dryer. I find, it will not even be what I call a gratitude day. I will just happen to mention, you'll be in there, and all of a sudden I will just have this surge in my heart of, I am so thankful for these two machines, this washer and dryer. And so I'm sure I did a past life where I was a laundress and had to.
Or on a river beating things up.
Yes. So I love me some washer and dryer, and I am always offering thanks for that. I agree with Christy, though. I promise you, if there's one thing you want to do to change your life today, start walking in gratitude.
Yes.
Any little thing. Be thankful for your refrigerator. Be thankful for being able to tie your shoes or whatever it is. Just start picking out things throughout your day to be thankful for. It will change your life. Definitely try to make the events live sometimes. Oh, thank you. I'll take all the healing.
And if we have any books, both Christy and I have books.
Yes.
And mine are available on my website, or you can go to Amazon and just type in my name. I've got 6 books that I've written.
Please and check Christy's books out. So interesting.
Yeah, they are interesting. And where can they get your books? Are they on Amazon as
They're
well?
on Amazon, just the one right now. The second one won't be published until September. It is finished. It is, but there's certain things you have to do for anyone who has published a book to get it on Amazon and do all the things. I have the ISBN number. Everything has been done. We're just in the very final stages of it. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
So Beautiful Princess is saying that when I complain about washing, I remember how lucky I am. So, Beautiful Princess, you're probably on that river with me, beating things with rocks. And even I can remember my grandmother talking about the hand crank. Like back in the day, she used to use a hand crank. So blessed. I don't have to do that. I can just push a button. So thankful. So Beautiful Princess was on that river with me. We were doing laundry together, and we're scarred from it. Okay. Water chakras, and where are they located?
I have different clients at many, many different levels of their spiritual journey. And I say you have to meet people where they're at. And some people have been studying spirituality for years. They go to psychics a lot. Some people, it's like, they walk in scared to death. Yes. And I start talking about chakras, and they look at me like, what are you talking about? Your chakras are the energy centers in your body. And there are 7 major chakras, And the first one is located right at your tailbone. That's first chakra. Second one is right below the belly button. That's your sacral. Then the next one is right above your belly button, right here in your gut. That's your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye, and your crown. They vibrate at a particular hertz or a particular level of vibrating. When that vibrates out, it creates your aura. And most people have heard of auras. And can you read auras? Well, it's your chakras vibrating.
Yeah.
Those are the energy centers of your body. And I tell people that you can take care of yourself. You can eat right, you can exercise, do everything right, and you still should consider energy work, because there's noise pollution, air pollution, light pollution. And so what we do in those Reiki sessions is clean out those chakras so they can run and vibrate as efficiently as possible. So there are minor chakras that run down the arms, run down the legs, but your major ones are right through the center of the body.
So most people do focus on the main ones that run through. And, there are all kinds of, there's so much information you can get from chakras. And there's a lot of times when I'm teaching mediumship, I will show people how you can, if someone, because I'm sure that you've had this, Christy, because you used to read at Next Millennium also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have people come and sit down in front of you and say, read me. And you're like, we have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you just want me to read you, we could be here for 8 hours. And so at that point, sometimes I would just, scan them real quick, and whichever chakra I felt was speaking to me, I would just get the information from that chakra, and read them that way. Because, whenever you go to psychic medium and you say, just read me, it's like, we could be here for 8 hours. And where do you want me to start and begin and end and all the things?
Yeah.
And there's so much information you can get. There's, crystals you can use to work with each chakra. There's an easy way to think about, like, if you're like, I just want to work on my root chakra. Root chakra is red. Make sure you're eating red foods.
I created a line of essential oil sprays, and I just happen to have one here. This one is connecting to source, which would be your crown chakra.
Do you sell those online, Christy?
I'm going to. They're not online yet, but if you contact me personally, I do ship them out. But I've been working on that with meditations to go with each of them, affirmations to go with each of them.
I love that. So if you're interested in those, contact Christy. And she said she'll have them online, so she'll have a store soon.
But you just mentioned that you can feel your throat chakra. That's speaking your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many women I see with blocked throat chakras, because we've all been taught, oh, girls don't behave like that. Girls are pretty, girls are quiet. And we learn how to shut this down and not speak our truth. And that, I think, is a major thing for everybody, but I think particularly women to learn is unblock the chakra, learn how to speak your truth. What is important to you?
So, a great way to do that, beautiful princess, is just sit for a moment. The color associated with the throat chakra is blue. So just envision this blue spinning and just keep spinning it until you can feel that unstuck energy. Now, I know when I first started working with chakras, and I would have people say, you can feel them spin. I didn't feel diddly squat. But I promise that if you practice, you can start becoming aware of them. It's just like anything else. Working with the spirit world, working with your chakras, it's just like learning a different language. And then the more you work with it, the more you become attuned to it. You can start feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa's talking about her crown chakra. I asked God to put his healing hands on the crown of my head and heal me from the crown of my head to the tips of my toes. That is so true. And, before, if you come to me for a healing, which I do healings, there will be, because I fill myself up first before I even touch you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first minute, 90 seconds, I'm not even in your body yet. I have asked divine, my healers, to come through and fill me up with healing. And then we hit you. So that's a perfect way of doing it. Beautiful Princess says, what do you think of witchcraft? If it comes with good intentions and respects everyone's free will, like spells to bring you new opportunities, money, etc.
Witchcraft has got typically a bad rap, just like Ouija boards. And it's whoever is the
The
user.
intention of it.
Yeah, and it is. It's setting intention because when you talk about Wicca, they self-proclaimed witches, and they do spells, but it is on healing the earth. It is helping people, things like that. So if your intention is good, you can call it whatever you want to, as long as it's not harming other people. Because are there good witches, bad witches? Yes. Are there good people, bad people? Yes. And it's just paying attention to what serves you, what serves humanity, on where you want to give your attention.
Yes. And, this reminds me of I'm from Louisiana, and as y'all know, voodoo is a big deal down there, right? Voodoo has gotten a bad rap. Voodoo was actually a very healing and prevalent religion. And what happened is the people who practice voodoo um, were getting what the religious people and the political people of the time, they were getting too powerful. They were getting too many followers. So they decided to start giving it a bad rap. And so now people are like voodoo. Oh my gosh, voodoo dolls. Voodoo dolls were originally made to help heal you.
Hmm.
And because of TV, TV has given so much of what Christy and I do a bad rap. Don't believe everything you see on TV. It's just not true. And it's all about the intention behind it. And if you look at some of the religious ceremonies that people do, those are rituals. They could be considered witchcraft, but because they're done in a church, they just put a different name on it. And I think that sometimes people can get so caught up in words when they actually mean the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's really about the intention behind it and if you're using it for good or bad. It's not about witchcraft can be good, it can be bad. People can be good, they can be bad.
Mhm.
Pastors and priests, some can be good, they can be bad.
Yeah.
It's all about the intention of doing them. And this reminds me of a lot. I say a lot when people start asking me about psychic mediumship and, well, and I have heard some psychic mediums say some things. I'm like, just shut your mouth right now, please. Lord have mercy. And when I encounter those people that like, this happened to me, or I encountered a bad psychic, so then they put us all in the same pot. There are psychic mediums out there who should not be doing this. There are doctors out there who should not be doctoring. There are teachers out there who should not be teaching. There are pastors out there who should not be leading religious institutions. So you really have to sit with what your discernment.
Mhm.
Where are you feeling drawn? Who is resonating with you? I was just reading Beautiful Princess again said, I'm interested in Ouija boards. I've read people having some really bad experiences. Thoughts on that? Again, it's what Christy had mentioned earlier. It's about the intention behind it. If you're going to sit down, now I know that, I don't know, but I'm assuming that Christy does frequently, like I do. Whenever I channel, or a channeling is when you are just sitting, you allow a spirit to come into you and just really, you are just regurgitating their words. Christy does that and that's what she will be doing when we get together in September for a group event. She channels someone named Ramadir. She doesn't channel just any old kind of person. So she has set her intention to only channel beings that are of love and light. Same thing. When I channel, like the other day, my Divine Collective, I channeled Jesus. I'm highest of the high. Come on. I will channel. I'm not going to channel just any kind of person. That same thing stands with Ouija boards. Bless it. Set the intention. I only want spirits of the highest of the high to come through this. Only spirits that are of love and light. It's
Only
all,
messages that are for my best and highest good.
yes, you want to set the intention of your expectation of the spirit world.
Because so many times it's teenagers and they're like, ooh, and the ghosties are going to come through and all this. And they do, because you've opened up this portal to any low vibing spirit. And then they get scared and it's a bad thing. And it isn't. You set the intention, just exactly what Christy said, is the highest of the high for vibing spirits, and then only messages for my best and highest good. And you will
Absolutely.
never have anything bad come through.
Absolutely. And,
Yes.
if you've ever had, I know some people want to, they are afraid of the spirit world because maybe they had an encounter that scared them. And some of that I want people to think about is you are a very powerful spirit in your own right. So if you do encounter a spirit that you don't want to talk to, I will have this happen. Like the other day, I was reading someone, I described a spirit stepping up. This lady said, "That's my dad, and I don't want to talk to him." Perfect. We won't do that. So I sent that spirit on his way and I brought up the next spirit and started describing them. You have control of the situation. I want everyone to remember you are a powerful spirit in your own right. If a spirit comes near you that you don't want in your vibration, tell them to go away.
Mhm.
So thank you. I agree. But people in second
Sure.
meetings, I know many genuine, lovely ones. I know. I do
You
too. I
said
know some
Yeah,
genuine.
you set boundaries in the spiritual world just like you do in the personal world. Would you let somebody walk into your house and, dump trash in the middle of your living room? Yeah, no, get out of here. Would you have somebody walk in and grab your wallet and like, "Oh, I need some money," and then walk out with it? You're like, no, no. And the same thing with the spirit world. The only way you ensure it is you set your boundaries and just say,
Absolutely.
yeah, and if something doesn't resonate, like, nope, go away. I don't want to talk to you. And set the boundary ahead of time. Don't wait until something doesn't feel right. You set the boundary first.
Correct. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everyone who has joined Christy and I today. And again, Christy has some beautiful books on Amazon if you want to hear from Ramadir. And then she also has a good one I like that really is about your journey in the spiritual world. I really like that. So go to Amazon, search her out, some beautiful books. Again, we are doing a group event here in Omaha. You can get tickets for that on my website, ChristyGodwinPsychicMedium.com, or on the other Christy's website, ChristyPeterson.com. And we would love to see you there. We are limiting the number of people that are allowed to be there, just so, it makes it more intimate and you also have a better opportunity to get a reading if we limit the number of attendees.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you all so